probably going to be a little short because I only have 7 Pokemon to evolve, and 3 of them are Sandshrew, so that might not be exciting for you guys, but that's exciting for me because you probably know that I've been trying to get a Sandslash with Mudshot and Earthquake since the game started. For this Q&A, I want to focus on the new catch rate bonus that was added in the most recent update. I haven't made a video about it yet because we don't know a whole lot about how it works, but I've been getting a ton of questions, so I want to start this one off by answering as much as I can about the medals and the catch rate bonus. Now before the first question is the first evolution. I'm going to start with Magnemite because that's kind of the most inconsequential for me right now. I already have a Magneton with pretty good moves. It could be slightly better. I think it has Thundershock and Discharge, and I would rather have Spark and Discharge. Spark and Flash Cannon is not really helpful for me. Electric and Steel have no overlapping type advantages, so... This first question is just going to bring everyone up to speed, and this is a question that's actually been asked a lot. What are the circles that appear at the top of the screen when you're catching a Pokemon? Those circles indicate your medals. It shows you which medals you have that are affecting your catch rate for that Pokemon. So if it has 1 type, you'll see 1 medal at the top. If the Pokemon has 2 types, you'll see 2 medals at the top. And the outline of the medal tells you whether you have gold, silver, or bronze for that medal. Now let's do our next electric type. Again, I'm trying for a Raichu with 2 electric type moves. I think my last 2 I've gotten Spark and Brick Break, and I'd really like to have Spark and Thunder. So let's see what happens here. Alright, I'm getting back on my Pikachu grind. Does the catch bonus affect the color of the circle around the Pokemon? The answer to that is no. Someone on Reddit did the research on this, and unfortunately I can't find the thread now, so I can't give credit, but they encountered the same wild Pokemon with the old version of the app, then updated and encountered it with the new version, and found that the color of the circle was exactly the same. So you're not going to see the catch rate bonus reflected in the color of the circle. I'm going to do Geodude next. I do need a Golem with Mudshot Earthquake also, because it is the strongest ground type to have that moveset. So Golem with Mudshot Earthquake is the highest DPS ground type moveset that you can have. Rock Throw, Stone Edge. I'm actually okay with that too because again, 2 moves of the same type. So this will be my strongest rock type attacker now. Any word yet what the +1, +2, and +3 really mean when it comes to the new catch rate bonus? Unfortunately, we don't know yet. There are a lot of people doing research on this, trying to figure out what the actual percentage increase is. Now in Italian, the game actually does say +1%, +2%, +3%, but we don't know if that percentage is applied before or after, or where in the formula that percentage fits in. Also, we don't know if it's actually a percentage or if that was a translation error or something that happened in localization. Now if that is a flat percentage increase, we don't know where that actually fits into the formula. If it fits in at the very end of the formula and just adds to your final catch rate chance, +3% is actually going to double your chances of catching a high-level Dragonite. So it seems really small, but for high-level Pokemon, it's actually going to make a pretty big difference. Now remember, each Pokemon also has a base catch rate, and the percentage could get added to that, which would affect the calculation differently. So again, I'm going to make a video to update you guys on all of this once there's a little bit more research on it, and once we know a little bit more information. But just know that for now, people are reporting, and I'm sure you've experienced it as well, that Pokemon are slightly easier to catch since the medal bonus went live. Should I do Gastly now, or should I do the Sandshrews? I'm going to do Gastly now, because I'm actually really excited about this. This will be my first Gengar. I'd be okay with either a Dark type moveset or a Ghost type moveset, because Gengar is going to be the best attacker with either of those movesets. Hopefully it's not a combination of the two. New Pokemon, look at that purple page right there. Sucker Punch, Dark Pulse. Okay, the Dark type moveset. Cool. There are no Dark-type Pokemon in first generation, so no one's going to get stab on Dark-type moves, but Gengar is the best attacker to have 2 Dark-type moves. Dark, if you're not familiar, is super effective against Psychic and Ghost, so this Gengar is going to be good against other Gengars and against Psychic-type Pokemon. Unfortunately, because Gengar is also Poison-type, it's also weak to Psychic moves, so it's a bit of a paradoxical situation there for him. But cool, I finally have a Gengar, and it has an okay moveset. Now I don't have a specifically asked question for this one, but it has been brought up quite a bit. When it comes to the medal bonuses, sometimes you'll notice that the medals flash again at the top of the screen when you catch a Pokemon. Now I've seen them show again for medals that I already have gold in, and it doesn't happen every time, so it's definitely not showing you medals that you're making progress towards when you catch that Pokemon. It's more likely that it's flashing to let you know that your medal bonus actually increased your chance of catching that Pokemon, or that you caught that Pokemon because of the medal bonus, meaning you wouldn't have caught it otherwise, but somehow that medal bonus saved you. Now again, we don't know exactly how the medal bonus is affecting your catch rate, but we do know that it is increasing it. And again, once there is significant information on the topic, I will make a video about it and share it all with you. Hopefully sooner than later. Now, let's start with the Sandshrews. I actually caught all 3 of these Sandshrews at Hollydale Park the other day, and I think they all spawned from my incense, which is kind of crazy. 3 Sandshrews with above 80% IVs. Obviously they all have different CP, they're all at slightly different levels. So I'm going to start with the highest one and hope I get Mudshot Earthquake on the first try. But if not, I have 2 more. Two more tries. This is a quick question, but it's one that got asked a lot after the video about incense and lures at nests. How do you know if a Pokemon is naturally spawned from incense or from lures? Natural spawns have white rings underneath the Pokemon. Incense and lured Pokemon have pink rings, and incense Pokemon also have the pink incense dust cloud spinning around them. So it's really simple to tell, you just look at the color of the rings underneath the Pokemon. Alright. Second try, I'm going to go for the next highest Sandshrew with this one. I hope it works out. One more try today. How much different is a perfect IV Pokemon versus a terrible IV Pokemon? IVs matter more for Pokemon with lower base stats. Because IVs get added to the base stat before the final stat calculation, the lower a Pokemon's base stat is, the bigger percentage its IVs make of its final stat. So let's compare a Pokemon with high base stats versus a Pokemon with low base stats. Vaporeon's max CP with perfect IVs is 2,816. Its max CP with 0 IVs is 2427. So with perfect IVs, Vaporeon's CP can be about 14% higher than if it had 0 IVs. Now let's look at a Pokemon with lower base stats. Alakazam's max CP with perfect IVs is 1780. Really low, I know. And with 0 IVs, it's 1472. The difference here is just over 17%. So it's not a huge difference between the two, but you can see that for weaker Pokemon like Alakazam, IVs are going to make a bigger difference in their final CP total. And for a Pokemon like Vaporeon, the difference between 0 IVs and perfect IVs is about 400 CP at max level, which can actually make a difference when it comes to your placement in a gym. I do have another video where I talked about the difference that IVs can make, so click on the suggested video right here if you want to check that out. Okay, this is my last chance. Mudshot, Earthquake. I don't have enough candies. Give me 1 second. Here's my failed Sandslash collection, so I'm gonna have to start getting rid of some of these for the candy. Mudshot Rock Tomb. This one can go. Mudshot Bulldoze. This one can go. Alright, that's 50 candies, so I'm just gonna stop right there. And I guess I can evolve this from right here. I'm gonna change the name right now, just in case. Just in case that has something to do with my bad luck. Sandshrew, help me out here. I've evolved 8 Sandshrews now, and and I still don't have a Sandslash with Mudshot Earthquake. The chances of getting any one specific moveset is 1 in 16. So out of 8 Sandshrews that I've evolved, it's actually not surprising that I haven't got Mudshot Earthquake yet. It's just kind of unfortunate, and it means I will have to be catching a lot more Sandshrews. I stopped my screen recording, but I just hit level 27. Now that gives me a perfect segue into my last question. Why don't I evolve Pidgey, Weedle, Rattata, whatever, to maximize XP? And the reason is, XP level is secondary to how I want to play this game. It's not really that important to me to be high leveled. Trainer level in this game really means one thing. It means you can power up your Pokemon further so that they'll have higher CP. The advantage to having higher CP is being placed higher in a gym, so that theoretically you'd be able to stay in that gym longer. Well, in my area, every gym, or at least every Team Instinct gym, gets taken down in a matter of days at most. So it doesn't matter too much to me where my Pokemon is placed, because that gym is probably not going to be a Team Instinct gym for very long. The biggest gym defender bonus I've ever collected was, I think, 4 gyms, and that happened away from here, somewhere like Big Bear or Joshua Tree, where there's a little bit less turnover on gyms. So for me, having a ton of high CP Pokemon to place at the top of gyms really isn't a priority, because no matter what it is, they're not going to be there for very long. Even after this training update where every gym is level 10, somehow the Instinct gyms are still getting taken down. The other advantage to having higher CP Pokemon means that you'll have an easier time attacking enemy gyms because your Pokemon will be stronger. Well, currently, with my Pokemon that I have now, which aren't even powered up to their maximum level, I can beat anything that's in a gym. The combination of being able to dodge well and knowing which moves to use against which Pokemon makes it really easy to attack enemy gyms. I mean, you guys have seen me solo level 10 gyms where every Pokemon in the gym is at least 500 CP higher than what I'm using. I have almost 400,000 Stardust right now because I just don't spend it powering up my Pokemon. 1, because I'm really picky about who I power up, and 2, because I'm already able to use those Pokemon to beat pretty much anything that's in a gym. Now, with everything being level 10 around me, I probably will start powering up some of the Pokemon that I use more, so I'm probably going to dump some Stardust into a Parasect, into a Bug-type attacker, probably another Parasect. Actually, I just had an idea. I think what I'll do is sometime this week I'll make an episode about the best attacking Pokemon for each type. So the best Pokemon with the best moveset for each type. And in that episode, I'll probably pick out the ones that I have and power them up, and then also talk about the types that I don't have the best Pokemon for. That should actually be pretty fun. Looking forward to that now. Now, with all that said, I know this was kind of a short one, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you tomorrow.